Viola, you've visited the region in question. What did you observe on the ground, and what is your analysis of the overall situation?
It's being neglected by the current government, maybe also by the former government, I don't know, but there's no particular investment coming in. There's no foreign direct investment coming in, while the rest of Serbia has definitely developed and was very much boosted or boomed by a certain foreign direct investors, but also state investors, public investors, and so on. And you won't find this kind of investments in the south of Serbia. One can also see that the situation has been in the past by a broad majority being Albanian, and now obviously it is it's more and more difficult for the Albanian minorities there to keep the people in the region. For different region, of course, it's economically difficult, but it is also with the occurring pacifization rather difficult if you do not have a statehood, if you do not have a citizenship, if you do not know where you belong to. People questioning whether they will keep their residence in the region. So we see there are a lot of economic, social, and political disparities. People feel rather disconnected from the center. They feel rather disconnected from financial resources and job labor opportunities. So overall, I would say it can be developed much better if you have a political and a financial strategy.
But what I don't understand, why do you think this issue is not getting so much attention in Brussels? When we look at, for example, the Association of Serb Municipalities in Kosovo and the rights of ethnic Serbs in the north, these are being demanded very strongly. Yet in Serbia, we have this issue. Why is there a discrepancy?
No, there's just one political reason for this. This is very simple, and I've written this in my tweet too. There was, when the break-off of Kosovo took place, it was clear that the non-majority in the north of Kosovo is part of the political deal, but nobody paid attention on the non-majority or the minorities in the south of Serbia. If at that time somebody would have raised their hand and said, come on, if we treat the Serbs in the north of Kosovo as a group with a high political importance, we should do the same towards the Albanian minority in Serbia as well. But nobody did so. So I think now it is much too late to blame the dialogue or the EU facilitated dialogue or the special envoy. It's not our fault here in Europe that had not taken place when the dialogue started or when the, let's say, political framework of the dialogue was designed. But that is the main reason why we can't just include the Albanians in the same way as we had included the Serbian minorities or non-majorities. And now, of course, it is more up to us to put pressure on the Serbian government. They are responsible. They are our interlocutors, but not so much Brussels as such, but not so much the dialogue. This is sometimes hard to understand for people in the region. I know if you suffer, you look for each and every opportunity, but the dialogue is normally not the format you need to address your problems at.
Now, you've also said that this matter, the matter of Preševo Valley, should be higher on the agenda concerning EU membership for Serbia. What response has this had in Brussels when you have suggested it?
I think now it might be much easier since we have the very, I would say, frequent and very detailed information on how the Serbian government discriminated in a very systematical way the Albanian minorities and how less the Serbian minorities and other majority and Serbian other citizens were targeted by this discrimination. And I think that shows a lot, and that needs to be included in the next round of the accession talks, and it needs to be included in the cluster of rule of law. I think this is a classical case of rights of minorities, anti-discrimination, respecting all ethnic groups in the country, and so on and so forth. And this is what at least we, and I guess also some of my colleagues, will remind the Commission and the member states of. So yes, it cannot be, as far as I understood, be included in the dialogue, but it should be definitely put higher up on the agenda of the accession talks.
Now, I would guess that you've probably had conversations with Serbian stakeholders on the issue. I'm pretty sure I can imagine what their response has been. They don't answer me when I've asked questions about it over the years. What do they say? What is their stance? What is their reaction to the research that has come out?
When I have spoken to the Serbian officials, there was mainly this excuse, if you do not have a permanent residence place in Serbia, that is the normal way how we treat the citizens. So then they get a warning, and after this warning, they are going to be pacified. But that is not the whole truth. That is not the whole story. The story is that they very selectively took people with an Albanian background, that they did not give them a warning, that there was not like once they have not met them when they tried, and then the second time after they got this warning. So it was an intentionally, obviously, process for getting rid of Albania, of citizens with an Albanian background, rather than an overall approach applied to each and everyone who has not the first residence in the country. And this needs to be now followed up. I think we should talk with our people in the Commission, but also with the people in the Serbian embassy. Next time I go to Serbia, I will definitely pick this up. But so far, as I said, the study was not done, and was hard just to get these bits and pieces of rumor. This is much easier now.
Many in Kosovo, both within the government, civil society and the media, they have this feeling that the EU is taking a rather one-sided approach to tensions between Kosovo and Serbia. For example, we have the recent punitive measures against Kosovo and a somewhat harsh rhetoric from the Commission and those involved in the dialogue process. But this doesn't seem to be mirrored towards Serbia either. Do you think this assessment is fair? Why are people in the region feeling this way?
If we speak about people who have committed something and have not delivered, I think it needs a criticism, no matter whether this is an Albanian representative or this is somebody from Serbia. But what I hear is always a general feeling that we do not treat Serbia equally with Kosovo. And I think when it comes to the domestic questions, yes, I agree. I think we must be much tougher on non-delivering on reforms. Domestic reforms, Serbia hasn't done a thing. How they treat journalists, opposition, judiciary, media especially. So everything which has to do with the domestic lack of reforms, I absolutely agree. We have to be much more outspoken. But when it comes to the dialogue in particular and each and every single step, to be honest, I mean, I was criticized a lot, but I don't see that the EU has really done significant mistakes here. They have tried hard, but there is no political will on neither side, neither on the Kosovo side nor on the Serbian side. Yes, we have to blame both of them, but the last escalation, especially in the north, was really very predictable. And everyone warned the Prime Minister Kurti not to go ahead with it. And he has done that anyway, yes. And then I think it was absolutely crystal clear there will be some criticism. But is that fair or not fair? Well, I mean, if you do not want to cooperate in any case, no matter what people and friends advise you, yes, then you face criticism. This is that simple, but doesn't have anything to do with the situation, how we should treat Serbia. And in that respect, I think all the criticism is right. But in terms of the dialogue, I would see that the criticism which Kosovo faced was, from my perspective, very legitimate.